All right, hello and welcome everybody to another Metabolic Monday with your boy, the Metabolic Mentor, coming to you live from our live stream studio. We're coming in hot, about 20-30 minutes late, but that usually gives our West Coast people time to load on in, and our numbers are even better. But we were preparing something really good for you, so it took a little longer this evening. You guys' questions were so good in my questions tab on my stories that I had to go back and do a little extra work to make sure I come hot and heavy with another great presentation, education you just can't get anywhere else. Why? Because we blend all the worlds together, from medicine, functional medicine, fitness, weight loss, nutrition, biohacking, aesthetics, everything and more. The science is brought together here, where we bring it all together in amazing answers that you can't get anywhere else. Everybody in the chat, go ahead and drop where you're watching from. How crazy was your Monday? Was it a 1 out of 10? Was it a 10 out of 10 stress level? Like really high stress, out of control, 10 out of 10, Monday needs to be over? Or was it super chill, 1 out of 10? Let me know in the chat. Again, drop where you're watching from. I see a lot of my day one Metabolic Monday live, people dropping in the chat. Awesome, we'll let everybody load on in. We've got our amazing team is in the chat as well. We love answering your questions. Some of your questions, if you're new to Metabolic Monday, I'm functional nutritionist Vince Pitstick. I have been in the performance and holistic space for over 18 years, and I take your questions that you just can't get answers to, and I break them down into ways that you can understand them here, where you can get real information amongst all the chaos of our over-informed, over-opinionated world of so-called experts telling you what to do with your life. Here we make it clear, make it organized, and give you something that you can really work off of and improve your life or the lives of others. 1 out of 10, Shannon, what's going on? Sammy, Diego, who we got? Phoenix Girl, don't know who you are. Tiff, what's going on? Utah, best day of the week. Lucky for me, it's a 1 out of 10 kind of Monday. All right, Lauren, awesome. All right, again, if you're just loading on in, please drop in the chat where you're watching from. This is Metabolic Monday Live. I'm about to dive into amazing nutrition, fitness, functional medicine topics. We're gonna dive deep on the screen back here right behind me. And I take your questions. Teacher on spring break, so I'm 10 out of 10 Cali. Probably mean 1 out of 10 because if you're on spring break, but I got you. Lucy, what's going on? Hello, hello. All right, hello everybody. Wisconsin in the house. All right, well remember, we like to reward people on Metabolic Monday Live for being loud and proud in the chat. I am well known to give care packages away from the best supplement company in the world, New Ethics Formulations. New Ethics Formulations is the pinnacle of bringing functional medicine, or we'll talk about medical grade supplements in the fitness world all together. And I should know, I design the formulas, I check the COAs, and we get amazing results in tens of thousands of clients that we serve every single year. So of course it's gonna work for you, and we like to spoil you with gift bags or care baskets from New Ethics Formulations for people that are awesome in the chat. Tim, what's going on? Watching from the mountains of Tennessee, awesome. Joanna, hello everybody, excellent. All right, we're gonna dive in here in just a minute, but remember, okay, if you have a question, drop it in the chat. If I can't get to it, someone from my amazing team from our university, we got Cam from MMU, Inside from our Vital Coaching Company, we've got my apprentice Waleed. We are all here to make sure that you are seen and heard and answered, and then I'm gonna start dropping some giveaways from New Ethics Formulations for people. Just order the flush. Can you use the infrared sauna while on the flush? Maddie, you absolutely can, as long as you are not too overly inflamed. So if you have a really, really sick client, we would not recommend that, but when you're not that sick and you're doing it for optimization, abso-friggin-lutely. Just make sure to keep your water high, bruh. All right, if you're gonna, the body uses lots of water to detox. It's pushing all this water through the liver, and if you are using too much of your water in your training or in sauna or in heat, you will back up the detox process and you will feel like shite. So let's try to avoid that. Make sure you're adequately hydrating, making sure you're getting in all that MetaPure or Ultra Clear with additional electrolytes, and you should be great. Katie Lynn, what's going on? Off Mirena IUD, that's what's up. Eating 2,000 calories and sleep is horrible. Any tips? Well, Katie, it depends when you got off the Mirena IUD. If it was relatively recent, as your hormones shift, you may have periods of sleeplessness. As your circadian rhythm changes, a lot of things can change coming off of a birth control and then letting your body reproduce hormones. Typically, it is your progesterone. So I would recommend a product that we have called either Jumpstart, which helps with your androgens, your progesterones, helps you reproduce hormones again, or you can just add chasteberry. I really like our liposomal chasteberry, or our actual, sorry, they call it, it's not liposomal. That one is sublingual. Our sublingual chasteberry is extremely strong. I take 2 or 3 servings of that. I would highly suggest in the evening take our liposomal relax. So things that induce GABA. When we have big hormone changes, glutamate production goes high in our brain. Glutamate is what the anxiety nervous neurotransmitter is. It kind of keeps us up sleeping at night, or from sleeping at night. So and it's got a little bit of melatonin, not too much to take you over the edge, but just enough to start getting you back to a normal circadian rhythm. I will tell you this, that whenever you're not sleeping well, and then you add an agent to start sleeping, the first day you will feel groggy because your body is not used to switching from parasympathetic back into sympathetic, because it's been staying in sympathetic. It's why you can't sleep. Your body is staying in sympathetic dominance. The first time you go back into parasympathetic, it's going to have a hard time switching back out into sympathetic, and that's going to leave you feeling groggy, but push through it to the next day. You should feel great. You can use things like, I like certain teas, like I like licorice tea. I like cordyceps teas. I like stuff like that. You can use a little bit of lion's mane in the day to help some of that as well. Good luck to you with that, but congratulations on getting off of your birth control. I am not anti-birth control, but when a woman knows the variables, knows how to take care of herself, and can be healthy off of them, and it's best to do so, we always suggest holistic first or functional first, which means trying to control your reproductive health in different ways outside of hormonal birth control, if that's possible. Meg says, I'm waking up every night at 2:30. Is this liver issues? Meg, if you look at the old Chinese calendars, which I think are really cool, is the Chinese Qi calendars, right? I love this. If you look at it when you're waking up, so all of you guys, do me a quick favor if you want to do something really cool. Go online and look up Chinese Qi calendars. Or healing clocks, like circadian Chinese clocks. Like it'll bring up, it should be like you might look under Qi clock, and what it'll do is it's going to give you this picture, and this picture is going to give you different hours of the day, like a clock. And if you wake up at a certain time every night, that clock will tell you what organ system is most likely involved. Because the body has this really, and I didn't believe this at all, trust me. I saw practitioners using this and I was like, what the hell is that, right? And then when I had really trouble sleep cases, I would go to it. And a lot of times if you're waking up between 1 and 2, usually, I think it's 12 to 2, she was saying 2:30, so she might be getting a little bit in the kidney or lung if my memory suits me right. But you'll find the organ system. So your body has a filtration process. So when you go to bed, your body starts cleaning itself out, okay? And so it cleans out different organ systems at different hours of the evening. And if you wake up at the same time every single day, or every night, you might have a problem in that organ system related to that time of the night. Now, I know it sounds a little bit crazy, but I'm telling you, in my hard sleeping cases, I have had to pull that clock out, and it's been pretty good. A lot of times it'll point at the liver or the kidneys or the lymphatic system, sometimes the lungs. So maybe you've got something going on with breathing and whatnot like that, like maybe allergies or upper respiratory issues. But I found that to be really interesting. But in the meantime, if you're getting up at 2:30 and you don't want to do that, my suggestion to you is to start with making sure that you're not rushing to bed. Create a landing period of an hour of no stimulation, no TV, Epsom salt baths, really help relax the body into its natural parasympathetic function. I would take either liposomal relax, or you can always try a little bit of kava tea. I love that, with a little bit of L-theanine or a little bit of phosphatidylserine. You can try our product called Cordy's with liposomal relax. Man, that works amazing. There's another sleep product out there, 1234 to be exact. Oh, Megan, you got it down. Okay, you got that down. You're like 12, are you 234? You're like writing it down and keeping a journal when you go to sleep. So I would start by trying to go to bed earlier if your body's finally not going to sleep, and then I would hit it pretty heavy. If none of those things work, I recommend liposomal relax and kava. Call it simple, a little bit of kava tea. That should get it done. If it doesn't get it done, then go to high dose melatonin. I know this is going to sound a little crazy, but 200 milligrams melatonin. Do not worry, you're using it for a short-term period of time. I don't want to hear all these natural warriors out here that are like, no, if you use melatonin, then you don't make it. That's not true. I've been doing it for years. Not true, even close. We've done checked at this point. But you will do it for 2 or 3 days because your body like needs a hard punch to kick it out of sympathetic. And so sometimes you just got to shake it loose and then it'll start sleeping again on its own. Remember to do, obviously, environment check. Like, are there things going on with you emotionally that you're not talking about? Are you having conflict in any of your relationships? Are you keeping your normal process of balanced diet, things for emotional well-being and stress management? Because if you're not doing those things, then messing around with liposomal relax or this, that, and the other, those are just Band-Aids, right? So anyways, I do have a sleep routine, mad bath, no lights, no food, cold room. Okay. Well, Meg, then you're probably dealing with something more physiologic, and I would go to the 200 on the melatonin for 3 days, then down to 100 for a day, and then down to 50 for the next day, and then you should be able to come off. Wild anxiety at the beginning of menstruation, Chelsea, this is very, very common. That's why blue plurum, Chinese herbs are the best for this. Blue plurum is the best herb for that. So that herb is in our product called Menstrual Ease. And you've got to preload it so it bioaccumulates in the body before you get to menstruation. So you want to start taking it 7 days outside of like luteal phase when you're about to go into menstruation phase. Take 2 twice a day. Start with that. That should really help. And then if you get an anxiety attack of some kind or your anxiety gets high, you can take 6 menstrual ease at any one time to have relief within 20 minutes of bloating, mood shifts, night sweats, stomach pain, all of those things. That's why the only natural product that exists right now that I know of on planet Earth that is absolutely amazing for female menstruation without going to medications or NSAIDs is Menstrual Ease. My girl's got to back me up on this product and use this thing because it is so good. But that's why a lot of people don't make them, because people are like, no, I don't know if people give a shit about natural products. They just jump to the Midol, and it's like, that's not fixing the problem. If you use herbs like blue plurum and products like Menstrual Ease, it starts to improve your periods. So just taking ibuprofen or just taking Tylenol is a Band-Aid if you're having that bad of periods. If you take Menstrual Ease, it begins to help correct some of the problem. Another product that's really good if you're having bad period issues is Estrofactors or Estrocord. And you can take that through the month. We actually have Hormone Plus Complete. All of these open up hormone pathways. Go to practitionerdepot.com. I really love either Hormone Plus Complete or Estrofactors. Check those products out. Can thyroid function? We're already going right in questions. You know what? They're killing her already in the chat. We're up to 50. Let's give away some products. Go up. I tell you what. Go up, producer. We got producer Keone, by the way, back in the house. Going old school. All right. We're going to go ahead real quick. Go right there. So Shelly RN says, any recommendations for restless leg? So that's a really good question. So a lot of times it's low serotonin, right? It's low serotonin levels that lead to that restless leg. And so ironically, if you're, Shelly, when you get a chance, tell me if you're more depressed or if you're more anxious. And I'm going to send you a free product on us in the chat. All right. When Shelly answers me, I'm going to give her some free product. Go ahead and go down more. I tell you what, Megan, we're going to go ahead and send you Liposomal Relax, Meg E Key, producer, or Waleed, go ahead and send Meg, I don't know how you say it, Meggy Key, I don't know what that is. But send her a Liposomal Relax from New Ethics Formulations on us. Send a message to Waleed. Keep going down. Let's go ahead and give away more products. So she said anxious. Okay, so you're more anxious. So that tells me you would probably do much, much better. So it's usually genetic SNPs that do this. So there are certain genes that will cause us to make too much glutamate. So there's a product called Mood Plus. No, go ahead, Waleed. Let's go ahead and send her GAD Pro Enhancer. GAD Pro Enhancer for, go up a little bit, go up a little bit. We'll start there for Shelly RN07. That's not a New Ethics product. But, and you know what? Add in a Cordy's for her. She can take Cordy's with it. I think she'll do great. Thank you, Shelly, for participating. Let's keep going. The questions have been great. All right, Megan Eckelbosch. Got it. Whew, that's like my last name, man. It's rough. All right, Pit Stick. You know, it's like it's a growing experience when you got my last name. What do we got? All right. Oh, see, okay, well, you can't send her that then, Waleed. Started when I was pregnant. Are you still pregnant, Shelly? We'll go to Lucy. Lucy says, how to increase AMH? What do you think about PRP? So AMH is anti-Mullerian hormone, everybody. Anti-Mullerian hormone is a hormone for fertility, for optimizing fertility. So there are a lot of people. Okay, Shelly's not pregnant right now. So Waleed, you can send those products to her. We're going to get you out a GAD Pro Enhancer and Cordy's on us, Shelly, from Practitioner Depot. Check out practitionerdepot.com for all your products. I have tested all of them. Every product that is on that platform has been used by over 2,000 practitioners on our platform and shown to create amazing results. Doesn't just label claim and you don't know if it's going to work or not. PRP is proline-rich polypeptides, or PRPs also as injectables. I like PRPs. I don't like them for AMH. I don't think it really works that well if that's what you're doing. The things to increase AMH have to do with, again, production of follicles. It's looking at number of follicles that exist on the ovary, your AMH, anti-Mullerian hormone. So the things that are good for producing progesterone and estrogen are the things that are good for AMH. So that means a lot of like a Mediterranean diet. That means a lot of phytosterols or phytoestrogens. So that would come from things like healthy soy, ancient grains, seeds, nuts, seed cycling, right? Getting adequate levels of progesterone. I'd probably add Progon B at a couple drops. Go ahead and go down, man. We're good. Oh my God, look at it all going on. Treatment for gastroparesis, also very active. Well, that's okay. This is a heavy one. Also very active lupus for over 4 years. Listen, I don't know who's dealing with this right now, but if that's what's going on, gastroparesis, most people just have slow motility. They're having slow emptying from the autoimmune-like symptoms. We see this as a condition called OID all of the time. It's very important that you go ahead. I think my social media team is in here. He can reach out to you personally. And let's do a complimentary session, because what you actually have is a pro-inflammatory autoimmune condition that is leading to slow clearance of the duodenum, right, and the valve. And they call it gastrophoresis. But gastrophoresis is when you have a complete freezing and no movement of your food. And if you have no movement of your food, we are in danger. In my whole 18 years of my career, I've only seen 2 people die right outside of our program. And one was from gastrophoresis, from a severe eating disorder that then led to gastrophoresis. And we got her with the pack, with the medical team, went and saw their doctors. They did a port to put a feeding tube in and couldn't do it. It's dangerous. We shouldn't play with it. We can absolutely fix it. The vagus nerve has a lot to do with your opening and closing of the valve, your esophageal valve. I do like chiropractic for it. I do like acupuncture, acupressure for it as well, but that's not going to totally fix it. We've got to get rid of the inflammation on your autonomic nervous system so that your nerves start working correctly. Your nerves are under pressure from high volume R.O.S, radical oxygen species. And that, by attacking the immune system, we can get inflammation down, and then you can go back to normal gastric emptying. In fact, not only am I telling you we can do it, I guarantee it in our Specialist Select or our OID program. I'll guarantee progress within 12 weeks, or we'll work with you for free till we do. Who's going to offer you that? Nobody. That's how serious we are. But you got to reach out and you got to take action, because if you're dealing with that, you are in the danger zone. We cannot stay here, right? We cannot live this way. Many, many people die, early deaths from gastroparesis. It is nothing to play with. So let me know. Valerie C, 2312. What's the product for fertility? So there's a lot of products for fertility. The best thing that you can do, Valerie, is my Flush program. We literally just last week got 2 people that couldn't get pregnant, pregnant on the Flush. The Flush uses the Mediterranean diet. It opens up your hormone detox pathways. It induces the production of progesterone, helps clears out all inflammation from your kidneys, liver, and ovaries. It's low cost, high reward, and you feel great, right? I would start with something like a program for fertility, not a product for fertility. Although there are a lot of products that do improve fertility, don't get me wrong. If I had to give one product, I don't know if I could. I would probably say it's called Plus One. By Metagenics, practitionerdepot.com. It's called Plus One. It's got all the genetics, it's precursor factors, it's got the choline, trimethylglycine, magnesium, activated B12, the list goes on, methylfolate, adenosylcobalamin, methylcobalamin. The list goes on and on and on. And then, fish oil, all those things that really help. Check that out. Melissa Tramelfit says, any recommendations for someone that gets super tired whenever they eat carbs with protein? They are fine when eating carbs alone or protein alone, only happens when they eat them together. Melissa, you're speaking my language. That's my life, right? And so I've got 2 things that are gonna blow your mind, all right? One is you're digesting slowly. And your digestion's having to work so hard, it's fatiguing you. The second thing has a lot to do with glucose and carb response. So when you eat protein, this is what happens to a lot of people, Melissa, so I don't know how stressed you are or what's going on. But if you've been in the fitness world and eating high protein for a while, then I promise you that your body's converting a lot of that protein into sugar and the carbs are converting into sugar. So when you eat them together, you're getting a higher glucose spike and then you're getting a crash. And then your body's sucking up so much energy for digestion. So the 2 things that I recommend that will help amazingly are digestive enzymes, utilize. It's a packet that has pancreatic enzymes and stomach acid enzymes between betaine and hydrochloric acid, putting together. And then GDA Max Pro. GDA Max Pro is our new exclusive practitioner only product that you can only get through a practitioner platform or through a coach. It's on our website, practitionerdepot.com. You can get it there. Take 2 of those and then also a packet of digestive enzymes with your larger meals that have both protein and carbs. And I'm telling you, you're gonna get through it a lot better. Make sure you slow down your eating, chew your food, take your time to eat that food, and make sure you're doing it relatively as relaxed as possible. Is neuropathy an autoimmune disorder and can you cure it? So, not all neuropathy is autoimmune, but a lot of it certainly is. A lot of neuropathy and pain that comes from this is coming from high levels of R.O.S. Now, some neuropathy is coming from damage to the myelin that could have happened in an accident. You could have been in a car accident and there was damage to the nerves and it's caused neuropathy, and there might be other ways to fix that. But almost all other neuropathy is due to integrity breakdown and overactivity of the immune system and R.O.S. And so what happens with that is certainly very, very fixable. We do it all the time. In fact, if someone has neuropathy, Tiff, and people are struggling with it, bring them over to me. Our OID program comes with a 12-week program promise. We have a 12-week guarantee that you will see improvement in these areas within 12 weeks, or we will work with you for free till we do. So think about that, right? We absolutely can help all neuropathy. Do it all the time. What are some products that can help with bloating? All 1E ball, I don't know. Anyway, I can't read all. I'm terrible at this game. I'm not even going to try. What are some products that can help with bloating? I am always bloated and I didn't realize that wasn't normal until recently. You and the rest of the world are figuring this out all at the same time. I super understand. Now, there can be a lot of different reasons for bloating. One of them can be slow motility. and poor bacteria in the gut. Obviously, you want to clean up your diet a little bit, probably remove things that have gluten and dairy for just a hot second and maybe some alcohol. Or if you're, I'm just going to say this, I don't know you, take out the 3 A's of of the common female food groups: Adderall, Accutane, and alcohol. Let's start there. Okay, let's take out all the 3 major food groups, and then let's move to healthier foods, things that are lower FODMAP, right, for right now, and then add a product called Gut Defender. Well, you know what? I'm going to hook you up. Bali, I don't know, but I'm going to, Waleed, go ahead and send her Gut Defender Plus, Gut Defender. You'll take Gut Defender 2 twice a day, and then also send her Bloat Ease Pro. Bloat Ease Pro. You just got hooked up with about $110 worth of product there, young lady, so you better use it. Take 1 serving twice a day. That is a good start. I would also add digestive enzymes. So I would get what's called Medigest and take 1 tab of Medigest at first bite with all of your meals. If you do, you get Medigest, I'm sending you the product. Go to practitionerdepot.com, get Medigest, and then I'm sending Gut Defender and Bloaties, and you're gonna be good. Okay, should be for general bloating. Melissa says we have tried GDA Max Pro and made her sick. She was fine with the old GDA Max. We'll try Utilize. Well, that's fine, Melissa. The GDA Max Pro is super, super, super strong. So it's just pulling her down too much. So just move over to Slintrol. Slintrol is basically GDA Max, the original. Just go to Slintrol. She'll do great. All right, listen, everybody. I still haven't even gotten to any slides yet. You all are killing it, all right? But let me get to some of the questions people asked, because I didn't last time and everyone got mad at me. Producer Malachi, let's hit the big screen. Let's go to the screen. All right, here we go. Oh, I'm not working no more. There we go. All right, quick disclaimer, warning, this is not medical advice. I'm not a doctor. You probably should have got this a little bit ago. I am not a doctor. I'm a functional expert. I do not treat, cure, prevent any disease. Back up off me. All federal or governmental agencies, please see functional practitioner doctors before utilizing any of this information provided here today. Lucy says, what do you recommend for Candida? Well, that can be a little bit of a longer conversation. I will say this. You want Saccharomyces boulardii. You want ADP and some berberine. Should be good to go. If those products don't work, try Dysbiocide. All right, moving on. First question that I got. How long should people cut for? And how many times a year if you are looking to drop body fat? This was a really, really, really good question. And this question comes up a lot. And I felt like most of the time, just so people know, most women will diet twice a year every year from the ages of about 15 to almost 50 years old and beyond now. Oftentimes it's going up to 55. Usually after 55, people stop caring what they look like. But we're getting more vain the older we get, you know, as an aging society. So I bet those numbers are till 60, 62 at this point. But I think what's important to understand is it's more than okay. It's not about how many times you diet. It has everything to do with how you diet and then how you treat your body in between diets, right? So this comes up a lot. So let me give you an example of what I'm talking about. So she asked, how long do you usually diet for, right? And what I would tell you is that you can diet twice a year. There's nothing wrong with that. But it has to do with duration. So if I diet for 12 weeks and then I'm done, I should probably not diet for another 12 weeks, okay? Give yourself time off and make sure that now I feed back up. Now, if I diet and I give myself weeks off in between intentionally, I can usually diet a lot longer. Like if I take refeed weekends where my calories come back up 30% above what my average daily was, or if I do weekends where that's happening, or I take a week where I do that. If you do things like that, you can diet a lot longer with less negative effect on your body. Now, there's 2 types of dieting that I really like. One is what's called the rapid weight loss method, where if somebody's got a disease or something and we need to get rapid weight loss off, that happens in a very short period of time. You only diet for about 8 to 10 weeks and then you're out. Because short duration doesn't lead to damage, right? Typically, all right? The other version is, again, more 12, 16, 24 weeks. But the longer the diet goes, right? The longer you diet for, you need time stops in there, okay? Meaning that you need periods where your body sees higher calories. So that could be starting after week 6 or week 8, you definitely need refeeds on the weekends, at least 2 days. If you get down to 1,000 calories a day, you should be at 2-day refeeds. If you've been dieting for 8 weeks to 10 weeks, it's probably a good time to take a week off. It's usually good to take a diet break every 8 weeks, depending on what you're doing. That would be a good balance. How do you feel about water-only fasting? I love it. I teach it here, but a lot of people who've never done it before should not just jump into a 3 or 5 day water fast, because you're most likely gonna do it wrong, not go into keto first, not know what to do, not know how to help your body while you're doing it, and then you could like pass out or something. Like you need to keep electrolytes in, you need to maybe have some MCTs to keep your body going. So a lot of those things. So I don't tell anybody to water fast past 24 hours without consultation and advisement by a specialist. One of our coaches can walk you through a fast to make sure that you do it healthy, right, the correct way, and make sure that you learn how to institute it in your life safely and appropriately. Fasting is really good medicinally and annually and intentionally. Fasting is not good if you woke up and felt fat and you need to be at the beach in 5 days, okay? Which is what producer Keone's doing right now. He just looked at me and he laughed. Yeah, but it's important that you understand, fasting is an amazing tool. Your body does all kinds of cool shit. But I'm telling you right now, you already know your obsessive addictive ass that if you do something and it works a lot and it works really well, guess what you're gonna wanna do? You're gonna wanna do it again and again and again, just like all of us health obsessed, body physique obsessed people. So you gotta know yourself and be responsible with things like fasting. Fasting is a superpower, but if you just do it every time you wake up and feel less than, or feel bloated in your sports bra or whatever, we got a fucking problem. So let's not do that, okay? Let's not be assholes, and let's do this thing responsibly. All right? There's your cut right there, producer Malachi. Cut it. That's the real right there. Don't be an asshole. All right. So the point is, it is more than okay to diet twice a year. It has everything to do with how we're feeding our bodies and the way that we're dieting. Many Americans are just prolonged starvation. They're not adequately nourishing their body. Then they're going from periods of low food and really high training. And then they're flipping it and they're going to no training and lots of food. And then they're flipping it again. There's no intention to it, so the body's not ready for it. You walk yourself into a diet and then walk yourself out. If you do that, you'll be fine, right? Dieting twice a year is okay. So how we diet, and then how long we diet for, and how intense we diet has everything to do with the amount of dieting we can do over a year responsibly. If I go into a diet, right? If I go into a diet and I'm insane about it, I'm doing 9 hours of cardio and I'm eating 500 calories, okay? And I do that for a prolonged period of time, my body is going to need at least 12 to 16 weeks to fully regain metabolic capacity, right? Unless the more muscle you have, that's not true, but the less muscle you have, the further out it goes, right? But here's the problem. Here's what people do. They crash their diet, they get really active, they take their fat burners and their caffeine and they stress the fuck out, and then they don't lose the right kind of weight. They lose too much muscle in the process. Then they immediately go on vacation, no more activity, drinking like an asshole, eating everything under the sun, and their body's metabolism was based on the diet they were just on. So the metabolism's down here, and then you just flip the switch real quick and go calories galore with no activity. Your metabolism is not ready for that. So it starts gaining fat instead of muscle. So then you start gaining fat faster. So then 12 weeks goes, 16 weeks goes, 18 weeks goes. Now you're fatter than you were before you started the last diet. So what do? You freak out. You go back to not eating almost anything, doing a shit ton of activity, taking your fat burners or your Adderalls or your semaglutides or your whatever, your appetite suppressants, and you're running the whole play over again. Dieting needs to be intentional to be effective. Now, I will also contend for you that as long as you keep some form of calorie management and be a calorie awareness, you should do great. But if I go into a diet, I get down low, I start introducing more and more calories, I walk myself up slowly and I get myself to a good maintenance amount of calories to make sure I'm feeding my body. And then I leave myself there for a little while. If I want to, do that for 8 weeks, if I want to go back into a cut, I can do it anytime. Remember, think of it this way: fasting and feasting. The feasting makes the fast work. Now, feasting means different things to different people. If you are a 250-pound, 6-foot female, feasting might be 2,000 calories to you. If you are a 4'9", right, ectomorphic female at 110 pounds, feasting might be 1,200 calories. So we need to be aware of that based on your size, right? Thank you, Jill. Amen. Vince keeps it real and holds us accountable. That's what's up. That's what I'm here for. So being aware that feasting makes the fasting work. If you want to diet, dieting and getting the results that you want from the diet is a privilege, not a right. So if you constantly undereat, abuse your body, take all this shit, don't take care of your body, you're going to lose the right to lose weight effectively, and you're not going to have the body that you want. You're going to be tired as shit. Then you're going to get anxious. Then you're going to get bloated. Then you're going to have gut issues. Then you're going to have menstruation issues. And then you're going to go, how did this happen to me? This is so strange. I don't understand. There it is in a nutshell, ladies and gentlemen. Now, great question, by the way. Producer Keone, back screen. I don't know if the eclectic mama, again, I'm not any good at this. I have no idea what's going on. Huh? Yeah. Eclectic? Yeah. If you were on here, you were the happy winner of our multivitamin for New Ethics, New Multi, along with our nationwide hit Court Ease. We'll send you both of those. Check in with Waleed in the chat, or if you watch this on replay, check in with Waleed and me on my messenger, and we'll make sure to get those products to you on the house. Is it a good idea to use charcoal before you break a longer fast? Gary, not a bad question. So activated charcoal is a binder. And you can use a binder in the gut should you need to. Typically, I wouldn't think that you would need to, although I don't mind it. I'll be honest with you. I don't mind using a binder when I first introduce food. Because what it'll do is it will clear up some of the, because when you introduce food back on, your bacteria is immediately going to feed, release some acids, and to kind of get a little bit of clearance and make sure that you have a smooth digestive experience. Not a bad idea, but not necessarily required. So great question there. All right, let's move on, everybody. Got some other great questions. This one I think is going to be amazing. I'm about to blow some minds right now. This is why I was late. This question came up. This is really good. From Miranda Carter. Miranda R. Carter? I don't know. You guys and your names. I have no idea what's fucking going on. All right. Biggest drivers of oxidative stress and best ways to reduce it. So that would seem like the good answer, right? It would seem like Vince, oxidative stress is bad, just like inflammation. So how do I get down oxidative stress? What is the biggest drivers of it? Because why don't I just figure out what the biggest drivers are and then not do those things? Well, I got good and bad news for you, because the answer to this question is going to be a bit more complicated than you might think. So, what are the biggest drivers of R.O.S? Well, yes, smoking and drinking is true, but here's all the ones you're not going to like, ladies and gentlemen. Emotional stress, working out, eating, your air quality, fucking breathing. Breathing is one of the biggest drivers of R.O.S. So wait a minute, Vince. So you're telling me I should just die? You're telling me I should just die, right? Because there's nothing left for me. The human body, everything that I do that is good produces R.O.S, right? Radical oxygen species. Free radical oxygen, right? Come back to the word oxygen. R.O.S. Radical. It's in the damn name. Oxygen species. So anything that you do that requires oxygen causes R.O.S. That's not necessarily a bad thing, because R.O.S is supposed to stimulate, right, antioxidant production. Hormesis, stimulations of new things. That's right. Fucking breathing, man. That's right. Now, so here's the thing. While this is true, also these things, so genetic mutations, SNPs, that cause R.O.S, imbalanced microbiome, infections. Your immune system is one of the biggest drivers, right next to eating. Eating, breathing, emotions, immune system, and energy production. So when you produce ATP, you have to make R.O.S. You use oxygen to make energy, ladies and gentlemen. So energy production releases R.O.S. And imbalanced detox pathways, that's another big one. Now, you can read this. This is really good. You guys should consider reading this to understand how oxidative stress works. This is a really good article. Oxidative stress, harms and benefits for human health. Understanding that you need R.O.S, you need it, but when it gets out of control, it can be the worst thing in your entire life, right? So let's look at this. This is a way of looking at this. Producer almost did it. Keone? So here you've got this balancing scale, okay? And what you see at the top is mitochondria. Mitochondria is where most R.O.S comes from. So an O2 molecule. How many people have seen long distance runners, marathon runners, swimmers? Oh, here's another good one. People chronically on low calorie keto or no carb, or people who train like 10 hours a day, and you'll see that they're really tiny or they're really lean, but they look 97 years old. Their skin looks like leather, right? And you're like, what the hell happened to you? How can you look like that and be that lean? Like, getting healthy shouldn't look like that. Like, if you go look at Mark Hyman, I just need everyone to be clear. The epitome of health does not look like you're about to die. I just need to be clear about that. Mark Hyman looks 5 years or a year from passing away. And I like Mark Hyman somewhat. Well, I'm just gonna be honest with you. He looks like he's knocking on heaven's door early, okay? And it's because the type of diet that he's doing is producing a lot of R.O.S, and that his body is not making enough antioxidants to counterbalance it. And so then you start looking old, because what happens here, this is your mitochondria. So as your body's breaking down and doing cellular functions, a lot of it comes through here, it breaks down an O2 molecule. O2, that's oxygen. Oxygen molecules have a really, really, really strong bond. So you have to pull them apart. And when you pull them apart, it releases all of this R.O.S. Now, that's not bad for the body. That's not bad for it, because now it stimulates the cooling, fueling and cooling of the mitochondria. This is where the TNF alpha is released. So this is what drives healthy immune function. It drives antioxidant production, right? It induces detoxification. And so then some genes get involved. GPX, SOD, right? SOD is a superoxide dismutase, okay? That is an antioxidant. GPX helps create glutathione and the antioxidant system. So the antioxidant system gets activated and it will clear things through the detox pathway. So you'll export out the cell. So here's the problem, and what I want people to understand is that R.O.S is not bad. But when you have too much of any of the three stressors, emotional, chemical, or physical, and you have too much coming in at once, then your cells are going to start pouring out R.O.S, and you're not going to have a strong enough antioxidant response to calm it down. Go back to the slide. It is a balance scale, ladies and gentlemen. Take a look. A balance scale. This is all, ooh, that's cool. Oh, I can't go that far. Okay. Ooh, I'm back over here. It's a balance scale. Okay? Now, here's where you see toxins and drugs, because it has to clear this free radicals. It has to clear it out of the body. This is where, okay, this is where I come back to this here. If you've got infections or an upregulated immune system, or you have imbalanced detox pathways, or you have genetic mutations, or an imbalanced microbiome, or you're drinking and eating shit, or emotional stress, right? If you got too much of that going on, then working out makes you inflamed, eating makes you inflamed, breathing makes you inflamed. Do you see what I'm saying? So like, this is the problem. So is there a point where you can't intake enough antioxidants to counteract R.O.S? Absolutely. K. Linnae, you can't eat enough greens to slow this down. The strongest antioxidant by 50 times is glutathione. But glutathione's half-life is only 1.5 hours. So glutathione only lasts in your body anywhere from 3 to 6 hours. When you take in phytonutrients, for example, when you eat food, when you take in phytonutrients, the antioxidant effect of that only lasts 1 to 2 hours. So that means you need to be eating antioxidants all the way throughout the day, which is why a Mediterranean small meal diet could be good for people in this position. Yo, what's up, Matt? Matt Schaefer in the house, client Matt. He's killing it. He's back on his flush. He's actually flushing out all of this R.O.S, right? So what's important to understand is if your body is making too much free radical stress here because your mitochondria are getting too much sugar in them, or it's getting inflammatory foods, and then it's releasing more R.O.S, and then your body can't break it down because the detox pathways are all backed up, and then your gut issues are coming into play, releasing more free radical stress. All of these things start to build up, and then you start to swell, right? You start to swell and not feel good. So the way to solve this problem is not one thing. This is important. You will not solve this problem doing any one thing. It's like working on a car engine, right? It's multiple factors. So what happens is, in the mitochondria, when it's making energy, R.O.S starts to build up. R.O.S starts to build up. R.O.S starts to build up. And the problem is, when that happens, you start getting apoptosis or death. You start getting erasing of DNA. You start getting erasing of DNA that exists inside of them. And they start to get damaged, right? And then that suppresses your mitochondrial oxidative stress pathways. So that's where it talks about antioxidant therapy is good, cell therapy is very good. And so this is how we got to fix this. Well, how do I fix this in the cell? Well, it starts with the body. I need to remove other things causing R.O.S. If my bucket is too full, the first thing I need to do is calm down my shitty eating and eat a little bit less. Relax my overtraining. Calm my emotional bullshit, right? Reduce my weird, everyone's trying to be too much and do too much. You know, everybody's main focus in life is being significant, right? So they're more concerned about what social media thinks of them than how they're really doing in life. And that causes a lot of anxiety and comparison, and we're being driven by the wrong things emotionally. And then we're on screens all the time, driving up our cortisol and our stress. So it adds all this R.O.S. to the system. So we need to calm it down. We need to back down our physical stress, all right? We need to make sure our indoor air quality is good, right? There's tests for that. We need to make sure we're eating good food, but get our eating down. And then we need to start going through all of these things, right? Eating the right foods, flushing our body out, improving our body's ability to produce energy with less inflammation and R.O.S. Calming our immune system by getting rid of pro-inflammatory foods, bacteria in our, like I said, bad bacteria in our gut, in our imbalanced microbiome. We need to make sure that we're taking methylfolate and other things that'll be good for our genes and what's healthy. That's why we do gene testing. That's why we're big on that. You guys maybe hear 10X guy talks about it. What's his name? He says some of the stupid shit, but then he says great stuff. What's his name? Gary Brecka. Gary Brecka talks a lot about genetic mutations, and this is why. It is important. And then opening up your detox pathways. So there's a process. If you guys can't remember all that, this is why functional nutrition coaching is important. Okay? Because this is all 12 systems of the human body. Right? 12 systems of the human body. And these 12 systems, right, are all involved in how your mitochondria work. And usually when you're kind of off and you're messed up, multiple systems are out of control, which is why allopathic standard Western medicine will not solve these issues, because Western medicine is looking at these individually. So if I don't feel good and I go to the endocrinologist, I'm only looking at the endocrine system. But wait a minute, if you've had a chronic issue, which means something longer than 6 months, it's not just the endocrine system. It can be the endocrine. It can be, I actually looked at the screen like it was back there. It can be the endocrine system. It can be the gastrointestinal system. It can be the circulatory system. It can be the lymphatic system. It can be multiple systems involved. So how the hell are you gonna solve your complex problem going to a doctor for one system? It's not happening, because that's not how you solve problems. That's why the medical system is doomed to fail most the public, because that is not how you solve problems in a complex system. That's why there won't ever be enough medicines, and there won't ever be enough science, and there won't be ever enough procedures. Because when you have something that is functional, it means it has multiple systems that are involved in the problem, and therefore you need a multi-system root cause, grassroots approach to how you fix it. So whenever you go into the next doctor's office, just know that that person may be beneficial, but they only know one system. So they're not going to be able to solve a multi-system problem, period. Okay? So that is why we created the dynamic system. It's the 4F system. And that is why we have divided up. If you want to solve any problem in the human body like oxidative stress, then you follow this chart right here. This will solve all of your problems. The most complex cases in the entire world you can solve if you understand this screen. This is the key to everything. This is the playbook. This is the keystone. This is the password that unlocks any condition. Okay? And you have to focus, right? You have to focus on understanding that when someone has a complex issue, like too much R.O.S., too much inflammation, too much of this. There is a synchronicity to what systems I work when I work them to then get every cell in the body to work. This is what we teach at our university that liberates people from any condition that they have. So if you're someone who's trying to learn on your own, or you're a coach and you're trying to solve these hard cases, you don't have to do it alone. This here will change your entire life and anyone's lives that you give it to, period. We've done over 55,000 cases with over a 90% success rate of every condition across the board. Time tested and proven. It's important that we understand how you approach problems, because come back to this problem. Come back to this problem here. How are you going to get rid of the R.O.S? What are you going to do? Just add some glutathione? That's not going to solve it. People are still going to feel like shit. You're not going to fix this. What are you going to do? Just take out working out? Well, that's not enough. What are you going to do? Have people stop breathing, stop eating? That's not enough. You have to have a system to balance the scales back out, right? I'm going to give you guys an example here in just a minute of how this works, right? So if you're going to fix R.O.S in the mitochondria, you have to start with working and balancing the systems of the body that are causing problems here, okay? Right? So that's super important. Let's go to the question. We just had a question right there. Go up a little bit right there. McKee Gig here says, my primary care practitioner, PCP, does not even test some of the blood work I was trying to get for Vital Med. I was shocked, but sadly also not surprised. That is why we opened up my own online medical clinics called Vital Med. So if anybody's looking for a real medical practitioner to help you with some of your endocrine issues, hormone issues, vitality issues, maybe, sexual vitality is going out the window, maybe your body isn't working correctly and you want a specialist to review it, go check out vitalmed.com. Somebody drop that in the chat. My medical team will check you out. It is an amazing team of practitioners that know what they're doing. That's why we launched them. Go ahead and check them out, vitalmed.com. Now, okay, that's why the 4F method. So if you want to solve the body and all the systems, you want to get all the systems into play, right? Yes, absolutely. I tell you what, we're going to go real quick. The rest of this, we're going to do a little fun giveaway. If any of you screenshot your favorite moment from your phone as we're doing this, I will go ahead and give people, I will give people a free labs track to learn all the labs that you want to learn, blood work, genetics, GI maps. It's a $2,000 giveaway. I'm going to give away someone a labs course to the person that takes a picture of their favorite moment of this rest of this Metabolic Monday Live and then post it to their stories and tag us, and I'll announce the winner next week. All right? So remember, all 11 systems of the body, and this is going to be important. I'm going to answer some questions in a minute. But starting from the adrenal glands and the brain, HPA axis, hypothalamus, pituitary, adrenal, HPA axis, starting here, moving into the thyroid and the gut. This is actually, thyroid and liver, right? I won that. It's an awesome course. It's why I'm now going through the university. Awesome. I love to hear that. That's amazing. Keep going. Again, it is the gift that keeps on giving. Functional medicine has changed my life, and that's why we've created the same path that I walked, that you could walk, so you don't have to do it alone, and you can really learn the secrets and the mysteries of how to do unbelievable, impossible healing for people on a magnitude, a scale that people just don't understand. Now, coming back to this, the 4F method. So I can condense all of this by doing steps 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? That's why it's trademarked, and you can learn this raw 4F method in live classroom settings. Now, or if you want to learn more about the 4F method, join us at the 1 in 100 Project. You got amazing people like me, Dr. Carrie Jones, dietitian Carolyn O'Connor, many other of our dietetics teams, or anybody that's tired of the medical system and believes things need to be different. We are here. Come join us. 1 in 100 Project Facebook. Check us out. Join the Facebook group. Now, I'm going to apply that same concept here in just a minute. Right here. Diagnosed with Hashimoto's and PCOS. How would you tackle these issues? Very good question. All right. So, if you have someone that's been diagnosed with Hashimoto's or PCOS, So one thing they're noticed about PCOS is that they believe it's an autoimmune disorder now, okay? So check out, I've been saying this for a long time. Most PCOS is not what we think it is, right? Phenomenal selfless service behind this organization is extremely encouraging. Thank you so much. Well, because we know that these things will liberate people from the things that are holding them back, period, right? We are a liberation organization for sure. PCOS may be an autoimmune disorder. PubMed is a great article. Dysregulation of the immune response in the PCOS. Easy on medical system. Cardiologist NP here, but no, the system is completely flawed. Well, listen, Shelly, you're in a very, so check it out. You're a cardiologist NP who specifically works on specific things in the cardiometabolic system, okay? Nothing wrong with that. So if people are having deep chronic issues related to the heart, right, I think that they still need to go to the doctor, but just understand that I know for a fact that if you had a health coach behind you who just worked this 4F system, all your problems, except for maybe your most chronic calcified AFib cases or whatever, you know, some of the really, really far off cases, the ones that are just chronic care, those might have a really hard time. But almost everything else, your life would change if you saw how much the functional nutritional approaches could get rid of inflammation, get rid of vascular inflammation, change endothelial shape. Even we've seen that, like over time, of course, over time, how it can deal with atherosclerotic plaque, things like that. So I'm not saying that doctors aren't good, just to be clear. I'm just saying that in general, 90% of disease in this country is lifestyle based. And if we only go to meds, right, and we only go to procedures, we're gonna let most of America down. We're hoping they don't get to you, right? But there's too many that already are. So just to understand, I am not anti-medicine, but I am anti how medicine solves problems. An inductive approach to solving problems, whereas we look at symptoms, we create a diagnosis, we write a prescription, and then we test the theory. That is called inductive reasoning. There's an amazing book called The Problem of Induction, and it has to do with problem solving. And I don't like how the medical system problem solves complex systems. It works for a gunshot wound. It works for somebody with severe heart condition or cancer. It does not work for most chronic disease in this country to solve the problem. That's my issue. So immune response, dysregulated immune response. So if you have someone that doesn't have classic PCOS, and classic PCOS did coaching through your program for hormone regulation and it depleted my hormones instead, what do I do? Well, it depends first. There's a process that you have to go through. So I'm pretty sure I've seen some of your case, because I remember a little bit about some questions that you've asked before, and you got to a certain place in the program. So we have to clear inflammation first, and that can bring hormones down first. But then you got to stay with the program long enough to then bring hormones back up. For example, people that are really, really inflamed. If I have massive inflammation inside of my body and I've got cellular R.O.S being produced and I have all these different issues, then you have to reduce calories first, get rid of cellular inflammation inside of the body, and then that weight loss is going to happen a little bit, so your hormones are going to lower a little bit. Then we bring food back in to help build hormones, right? Natural levels of inflammation can be sustained, and then you have a correct system working the right way. But a lot of people don't take it all the way there. That's the problem. They quit a little bit early, or they stop too soon, or they say it isn't working. And sometimes you have to be a little bit more patient. But we've got to get the pro-inflammatory load off of you first, right? So that's the challenge. Most people have hormones, but they have so much inflammation and R.O.S inside of their body, usually because of their immune system and gut, that we have to bring that inflammation down. Well, what did I just show you? I just showed you that eating or high calories or any of the things that grow hormones will cause more R.O.S and inflammation. So you've got to bring that down first and then go back up. People tend to want to hear that, right? And they want to go straight to the thing that they think they need, but they have no idea how to get there. And so a lot of people jump off before they get to the full effect. And that's unfortunate, and that happens, right? So we have to clear inflammation first, get rid of bad cells, clean all that out of the body so that your body can hear the message of hormones. You can't just dump more hormones on and everything work out. If you add more hormones to inflammation, all you get is a watery mess. You don't get better outcomes, okay? So that's how that works. All right, now, dysregulation of the immune response in PCOS and organ systems, right? Yes, Nathan, you are correct. It's called deductive logic or a deductive process. We worked a deductive process forward to a solution, not an inductive process working backwards. That's exactly right. So dysregulation of immune response in PCOS organs. So if you have classic PCOS, so classic PCOS would be high triglycerides, high insulin, high glucose, you've got high testosterone, you've usually got, hair in places you shouldn't, like hair on upper lip, you're maybe going bald on your calves, things like that. So you have, and then you just maybe start getting hair shedding. That's classic PCOS. That's more straightforward an ovarian issue, but still causes immunological issues. If you have non-classic PCOS, where your testosterone isn't high, you don't have high triglycerides or insulin, that's non-classic PCOS, and that is almost always an immunological imbalance, in my opinion, and the side effect looks like PCOS, okay? It seems not to be slides, don't be going. There we go. So this talks a little bit about this. I thought you guys might find this interesting. Some really good research in this area. I'm citing this research right here, dysregulation of the immune response in PCOS organ systems. It talks about the immune system orchestrates the HPO axis. Okay, that is the hypothalamus pituitary ovarian axis, to participate in normal female physiological processes, such as ovulation, fertilization, pregnancy, and embryo implantation. This is important because most women that have non-classic PCOS, or people with autoimmune disorders, or people with chronic unexplained illness always have worse symptoms when? At ovulation and anything to do with either implantation, or in this case, you have unsuccessful pregnancy because you're not trying to get pregnant. You have to release the embryo, which is what? Menstruation. The immune cells, like neutrophils, T cells, which is what also makes makes this like lymphocytes, right? T cells and macrophages are recruited to the ovaries during fertilization and migration. This is important. This is why infertility is off the charts. This is why, having miscarriages is going off the charts. And it's not a wonder that post the shot and post CVID, enter the rest in, we're seeing more infertility than ever. Because your immune system and your endocrine system are intertwined. So that's why a lot of women who are super inflamed, have higher androgen levels, every once in a while maybe get a cyst here and there, are way more likely to suffer from infertility or a miscarriage, because the immune system is so intimately involved with how well the endocrine system works. So this rash of one of the fastest growing conditions in the United States is PCOS, but it's not really polycystic ovaries. It is an endocrine disorder being caused by too much inflammation and stress in the body that's creating the immune system to overactivate, putting stress on the endocrine system. Guess what else is in the endocrine system? Your thyroid. So if you have hypothyroidism out of nowhere and just feel tired all the time, that's probably your immune system because you're stressed the F out. Guess when else you feel really tired? When you're about to get sick because the immune system's kicking in, right? It's important to understand this. Now, come back to this because he asked, diagnosed with Hashimoto's and PCOS, how would you tackle these issues? So I just showed you a little bit on the immune response. I'm going to show you in a second. So immune regulation issues in PCOS affected women further promote the development of chronic inflammation. So let me come back to it. How would I solve this problem? It comes back to knowing the 11 systems and having a 4F process to attack this. I would start by working the HPA axis the thyroid and flushing out actually the liver, which is right here. I just didn't show it well, so let me go to this here. Here. So I would start with, producer Keone, bring me in, the adrenal glands, brain, hypothalamus, adrenal glands, thyroid into liver. Because the brain has everything to do with CRH, okay? Corticotropin releasing hormone, perceived stress. That's where catecholamines are produced. When you're super inflamed, you've got to get your catecholamines down. You got to get your adrenaline down. You got to get your cortisol down. You can't be ripping adrenaline, taking your Adderall, stressing out, working 15 hours a day, doing 3 hours of cardio, and think you're going to solve your effing gut issues or your thyroid issues or cellular inflammation or get your insulin down. It just ain't happening. This is why. So when he's asking me, how would I fix PCOS, which is more of an endocrine system, so like sex hormones, thyroid, insulin, I'm not even starting there. I'm using the 4F system. I'm flushing the body out first, opening the liver, calming CRH, balancing the thyroid and the adrenal glands, which is the upper part of the endocrine system. It's the thermostat for the rest of the body. I start there before I go to anything else because you got to do things in a specific order. The body is just a puzzle. And if you put the right pieces in place and you do it in the right order, you can fix anything. The mystery has been solved. 12 systems, if you work the systems in the right order, the body will turn back online. Okay? We teach this at our university every single day. Get one course that'll change your life. All right, so for Hashimoto's, coming back to this case, if I got diagnosed Hashimoto's and PCOS, they're not different. This is probably non-classic PCOS, meaning that she does not have high testosterone. She has high androsterone. She probably is having weight loss resistance. She's probably swollen and tired and has gut issues. Okay? So the Hashimoto's is a symptom of the autoimmune system, or the immune system, which we call OID, right? And so what I would start with is I use a product called Thyrotropin PMG. I give them 2-3 times a day. That has got thyroid glandular in it, but it has no bioactives. It will trick the TPO into attacking it versus the thyroid itself, giving your thyroid a little bit of a break. I would flush the body with our flush system, and I would add a little bit of myeloinositol, okay, because that really is good for PCOS and the endocrine system. That'll calm the nervous system. I'm using Cordy's because you got to get stress hormone down. If you don't get stress hormone down, back off their training, increase their sleep, increase their water intake, move them to a Mediterranean diet, get them off pro-inflammatory foods, then you'll never stop triggering the immune system. Because what you got to do is start removing all the immunological triggers, right? Imbalanced microbiome, low vitamin D status, toxic exposure inside the body, like toxic accumulation, right? Pro-inflammatory eating. You have to remove those things in a system to make sure that you get it all. Think of it like a checklist to make sure that you check off all the boxes so that someone can actually heal. That is what this is. This 4F system here. The checkbox. This is your quick guide, your quick sheet to solving any problem. Is this. So keep that in mind. We teach this 13-week course. You learn this, it'll change your life. So talking to this guy here who wants me to solve this Hashimoto's PCOS case, you're not going to solve this with one protocol. It ain't going to happen, right? You're going to struggle with these cases until you learn that all 12 systems of the body are at play. And I need to get everything in alignment in order to solve a case like this here, okay? All right, everybody, listen, you guys have been great on this Metabolic Monday. I appreciate all of you. Remember, take a screenshot of your favorite moment, post that screenshot, and I'm going to give someone away our $2,000 labs course. This was my favorite live so far. This info was so useful. Thanks for sharing. Hey, no problem. That's what we're here to do. We're trying to solve what seems like a mystery. all these people with all these different issues, their bodies aren't working right, they're not getting the goals that they want physically, they're not getting, they're sick and can't understand why. What part of the program is cycle syncing? We get to cycle syncing at step 4. That's the function phase, okay? Step 4 is the function phase where we teach cycle syncing. That is correct, right? Everybody thinks that their mystery of why they can't build muscle, why they can't lose fat, why they're still sick, why I don't feel good. If you just follow this system in the right order, your body will fall back in alignment, and then you can get anything done that you want. Get better outcomes in the gym. Get rid of conditions. But you got to make sure all the systems are working in alignment, or you'll never have what you're looking for. Oh, we got questions? How does that work? Oh, what is that? Is that showing on their screen or just ours?
That's where they ask it during the live.
Oh, that's cool. Really?
These are from source, sorry.
Oh, that's cool. We'll have to check that out next time. Listen, I appreciate you all. We'll check back in next live. Thank you, everybody. Have a great evening. Peace.